I am so excited for this. It is January 22nd, 2025. My name is Noah Young.
I am 26 years old.
I am 28 years old.
I live in Nebraska, and I don't think that's going to change, but I guess we'll see.
I live in Nebraska, and we are buying our farm this year, so I think it's going to be Nebraska for quite a while.
I have 787.6 on TikTok.
1.1 million followers on TikTok.
299,000 on Instagram.
I have 617,000 followers on Instagram.
24,000 on Facebook.
I did have 368,000 followers on Facebook before my page was hacked by hackers, and Facebook has done nothing to get that back this year, so I think Facebook's done.
I guess I should throw in YouTube. I have 2,680. I've got a ways to go.
73,584 YouTube subscribers.
It kind of depends on if you count TikTok and Instagram, because I have one on Instagram. The seedless watermelon video is at 10.3 million.
That's a good
but
video.
If you do combine, the one I did on Raising Cane's chicken strips actually has
like one of my favorite videos of all time.
Over 11 million views. So that probably takes the cake.
Okay, so my most viral video to date is the pumpkin Frankenstein mold video. I filmed that this fall where I grew a Frankenstein pumpkin in a mold. That has over 24 million views on Instagram and over 5 on TikTok. So total right under 30 million views.
The most followed person that follows me would probably be Dwight. Oh yeah, it's definitely Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard.
I think he has several, like over 4 to 6 million. I don't know. Sorry, Dwight. There's like a model slash beauty influencer.
I don't know who
She's
I
got
was even
several
talking about
million.
here.
Jim Gaffigan.
Jim's great.
Those are
That was
probably the biggest ones for me.
Okay, I need to look. While I look though, Jessica Alba doesn't actually follow me, but she did comment on one of my videos and I commented back. That was awesome. So Jessica Alba was really cool. I'm trying to look up if, okay, it's definitely her. This is Hillary Duff followed me this year and she has 29.6 million followers. I didn't know if it was her or if it was Jennifer Garner. Jennifer Garner has 17 million, but Hillary Duff, shout out Lizzie McGuire, definitely the most famous person that follows me.
Man, see, last year I said I was gonna make 5 people, and once a week I would dedicate
such
time
a good idea
to getting to know those 5 people.
I don't know why I never
any of
did
that.
this.
And so this year I'm kind of just like,
I still
don't know
want
if that'll
to.
ever happen.
Someday
I
I
would
will do
love to have dinner with Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that would be really cool. I think they'd be able to help me, and
that didn't
you know,
happen.
they're very similar-minded, I guess. No, I feel really blessed. I've been able to meet a lot of the farm influencers that I like. Ballerina Farm, that would be one I would love to.
She has less than 3 million there. She has like 10 million
Dale
now.
Brisby, we had him on our podcast. And
I met him.
So I got to meet him
National Anthem
virtually,
Day.
but I would love to hang out with him in person. Maybe that would be the right idea.
We haven't done a video yet
like,
though.
Hang
so I don't know
out
if
with
that
Taylor
counts.
Sheridan on the set of the 4-6s. That'd be sweet. Okay, now the wheels are spinning. Definitely I'd want to hang out with Ryan Bingham, Coulter Wall, you know, like all the really cool guys
This
that
is
like
cool.
country music right now. Those would be the people I'd hang out with. Zach Bryan, Tyler.
Yeah, so Zach Bryan did not age well. I did get to meet Taylor Sheridan. This is a crazy story. I was at the Fort Worth Stock Show last year at like Wednesday at 10 a.m. There was hardly anybody there, so I sit down with my Dr. Pepper and my pretzel, and 2 rows in front of me was Taylor Sheridan. I was like, oh my, I freaked out. He gets up and he goes into the arena and he starts doing horse cutting. And I was like, this is so cool. And there's these 2 gals a couple rows up behind me. Like, there's nobody here at this arena, you guys. Wednesday at 10. And I could hear them talking about it, so I just walked up. I said, excuse me, ma'am, are you, like, you sound like you know what you're talking about. Would you be able to explain a little bit of what the horse cutting world looks like? And she laughed. She's like, yeah, I know a little bit, a thing or two. She owns Metallic Cat, which is like the #1 horse in the world, and explained to me the whole process. We talked for like 30 minutes, and at the end of that conversation, Taylor Sheridan walks up to her, gives her a big hug. They start chatting. I'm just like standing there, kind of awkward. And then she like introduces me and explained my story. So I got to meet him. That was so cool. I got to meet Coulter Wall at the airport in Colorado a year and a half ago. That's sweet. I asked him, my opening line was whether or not, I said, you're either Coulter Wall or a really good Coulter Wall impersonator. And he laughed and didn't say anything. So then I was like, that was awkward. And I walked away. Well, then I was like, I have to know if that was actually him or not. So I went back and I said, I'm sorry, are you actually Colter Wall? And he laughed in his, thick Canadian. He's like, oh yeah, I didn't know what to say earlier. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that's really cool that I was able to meet those people. For this year, honestly, I have met so many crazy, amazing people. So I'm just going to go even above that. I'm going to say George Strait and Cody Johnson. We're going to go Mount Rushmore country artists. And then for celebrities, I've always wanted to have supper with Zendaya and Tom Holland at some little quiet, quaint London pub. So I'm going to make them my goal this year. Zendaya, Tom, coming for you guys.
I don't know if this is really advice, but it's something I hope that I've accomplished in a year, which is figuring out how much time to spend on the farm, how much time to spend on social media, and how much time to spend with my family. Because I'm really struggling right now to figure out that balance. I could spend all my time with my family and get nothing accomplished, and then I could spend all my time in social media and get nothing done on the farm. So I hope a year from now that Noah has figured out a good life balance and a good structure to his newfound freedom of getting to do whatever he wants and dictating what he does in a day.
That's really cool. Context, at that point, I had quit in December. I filmed this in January, so I did have a lot of worry about what this was going to look like, being self-employed, knowing how to manage everything. And so knowing that, 2 years from now, there's a lot more that I need to get better at. Obviously, I'm not perfect, but the aspect of the amount of time that I've spent with my family and balancing that between work, you did it, Noah. That's so cool. Looking back on how much I was able to accomplish from the time of recording this, I feel like you did it. So well done. For next year, my advice is hire someone. You really need to get an editor or someone to film you. I feel like I'm leaving so much on the table. There's a lot of great content that I'm not getting out there just because it's hard to do a project well and film it at the same time. So I really need to get somebody else that can just do that for me. I don't feel like I have the proper amount of time to still hang out with my family and do all the other things that need done and do content properly. So that's my advice to you next year. Get somebody hired, even if you got to take out a loan, I guess. I don't know how that's going to work, but I hope you do it.
Oh, well, there you go. I hope that's what I accomplish this year's a good work balance. But I do think I have a couple goals. I really want to get our greenhouse going and be able to sell plants. So I hope
we did 2 of those.
Accomplish that. That I was able to sell a bunch of plants, that I was able to get our cool CSA boxes.
We built 2 greenhouses since this.
And I hope that I get to travel and meet a bunch of farm influencers, Western influencers, just meet a lot of people and create good content. That's my goal. I hope that I can hit, I don't know, I haven't really thought about any social media goals.
Oh boy.
Which I probably should do, but I would love to be able to get to 900,000 on TikTok.
Cool.
And let's say, can I grow 100,000 this year on Instagram? Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 400,000 on Instagram, but really what I want is YouTube. I want 20,000 subscribers on YouTube this time next year. That's my goal.
All right, so obviously it's been 2 years, so I maybe should have set some more ambitious goals. However, I not only beat those goals, I've in some cases doubled them, so that's really cool to be able to accomplish that. For this year, I don't know that I'm going to set any actual hard goals for social media because it's not so much anymore about the number of followers, it's more about income. And because we're buying the farm this year, my goal is really to just be able to afford the mortgage, because our mortgage is a lot more than rent is going to be. I'm a little nervous about that, especially in terms of, as a independent contractor, my monthly income varies so much throughout the year. And it's truly amazing looking back. Every year I've actually been able to make more than the year before, but also every year before I feel like, there's a big deal that I got. 2 years ago, I got a huge Tractor Supply deal that I didn't get last year. And I was like, how am I going to make up that much money? And at the end of the day, you do. And so God's good. I'm trying not to stress out about that. But I hope this time next year, I was able to accomplish buying the farm and that we're financially okay. I hope that's what we do. I do want to accomplish getting a YouTube play button. So I need 100,000 subscribers to do that. If I can't get another 25,000 by this time next year, I've failed somewhere along the way. So I really hope I get that YouTube play button.
Oh man, well, it had to have been what happened this year. December 1st, I went full time as a content creator / influencer doing videos full time. I mean, my career up until that point was working for Green Cover in marketing and sales, but I worked for them since I was 13, so like that was my entire career. And so this is like my first career move, I guess, and it feels so weird to be working for myself.
It does.
Being able to be with my family more. It
still does.
It's crazy. I count my blessings every single day.
I genuinely thought, 2 years down the road, that the shine would kind of wear off, that I would get used to this being what I do for a living. And every day I wake up, I'm still like, this is wild that this is what I get to do. When I travel and get these amazing opportunities on trips, get to meet people, I'm still shocked every day. So there's no aspect of that, watching that, where I'm like, oh yeah, I was more excited then than I am now. That is still by far the biggest career achievement, is getting to do this full time. I don't see that changing. Hopefully this continues, but for right now, biggest career change to date is getting to do this full time.
Not very often. It depends on kind of where I'm at. Like if I'm at a farm show, I'll get a couple people to recognize
funny
me.
question.
My favorite was when I was in Hawaii, so that was probably my
That's cool.
favorite, but I can go several weeks without anybody knowing who I am.
This is a really funny question. I feel like I do get recognized more than I did 2 years ago, but it's not like I can go to Walmart and nobody knows who I am. Definitely the farm shows have been awesome. I went to the National FFA conference this year, and the amount of kids that came up, asked for signatures, pictures, definitely by far the most that's ever happened. And it was really cool to see the young generation, like high school kids, that have watched my stuff, are inspired by agriculture. That was awesome. So definitely if I go to shows like that, I definitely get recognized more, but I can still go about my day. Nobody knows who I am. Maybe in 10 years that'll change and I'll feel like I'm a celebrity, but I need to get like a TV show first or something.
This one's so sad because my dream brand deal
I was
is
gonna
with
say Raising Cane's. Yeah.
And I've been told through the grapevine that they have seen my videos. They saw the one that
I've
had 7
never,
million views,
still to this day,
and
never been reached out. Nothing.
I've reached out multiple times. Haven't heard
I
a
do
word
eat
back.
a lot less Raising
And
Cane's than I used to.
I'm a little bitter,
Partly because of this?
about Raising Cane's. Maybe I'll start doing more Chick-fil-A videos and see if
I didn't do that either.
Jealous. Maybe that'll get their attention. I don't know, but that one makes me really sad. I would love to partner with like Kubota and have a tractor because I feel like that would be something that would be super useful here on the farm. Any type of sponsorship where I'm able to get something that allows me to continue to grow the business. Those are the things I'm focused on.
Got a good one for you, Noah.
But
I got a good one for you,
Raising
Noah.
Cane's I eat there like once or twice a week, and so that would have saved me a lot of money,
I'm kind of proud of myself. I do eat there a lot less. I was eating there once a week. And in order to save money and to be healthier and because Raising Cane's, ghosts me, I do eat there a lot less. So I'm kind of proud of myself for that. I don't know why I've never reached out to a tractor company. I could really, really use one. I feel like I'm not big enough to get a Kubota dealership. I really should do that. I don't know why. Because this year, the brand deal that I did get that I'm most proud of is with Ford. They gave me a free truck, and I never in my wildest dreams thought I would be driving around a brand new vehicle. The newest vehicle I've ever driven was like 18 years old. And so getting a brand new vehicle is wild. That's been awesome. That's been so cool. Been utilizing it like crazy. It's got 4-wheel drive, so snowy, icy roads. It's been awesome. I really like it. I'm trying to think if there's any actual brands that I could collaborate with, and if it was, probably would be something in like the gardening space, like Bonnie's Plants, Burpees maybe, because I utilize so many of their tools, so many of their supplies like seeds and stuff. Maybe Burpee would be up there, but even then I can just buy that right now. So tractor, that's what it is. It's a tractor.
No, not really. I feel pressure to provide for my family, and so that's kind of where it comes from, is like I gotta get enough brand deals and I gotta do enough UGC content, filming for other companies that I can provide for my family.
Yeah.
But as far as like how the content does, I mean, I just want people to be inspired and learn something, and I feel
I don't
like
think
the
that's
videos do
changed.
that, and it's not really
I feel the
that
same way
hard
about that.
to educate people. Like learning something new and then just sharing it with others isn't that difficult of a process, so I don't feel pressure to do that.
Yeah.
And people have been super nice and kind about I don't know, like the entire process, thanking me for what I do. So I don't really feel
That's my cat. Oh,
I don't really feel a lot
that's
of pressure.
Cookie. We lost Cookie
more
about
just
5
from
months
the
ago.
I have to
So-
provide from my family standpoint so that my kids have food on the table. That's really where the pressure comes from.
This is kind of weird. In some ways, I feel more pressure because of the aspect of buying our house and the amount of financial responsibility that comes with that. And I do feel still that same amount of responsibility. Like, kids are growing up and they're more expensive. But I feel less pressure in terms of creating content because I've done this for 2 years. I have a better understanding of what I'm doing, how to actually manage finances at different times of the year. Like, I just know that summer's a lot busier than winter, and that's really helpful. But pressure, it's just hard. Some ways yes, in some ways no. I'm going to say overall I feel about the same, maybe slightly a little bit more pressure.
Fun, edutainment, and food. Because I think at the end of the day, everything that I'm doing revolves around food.
It's about the same.
If it's gardening, you're growing food, or if it's chickens, you're growing food. So, food, edutainment, and fun.
I think it's going to be about the same this year. Food is definitely the overarching. That's how I view things. So when I'm making a video, I'm generally thinking, is this at least food related? Because food is something that everyone needs, and it all eventually comes back to agriculture. I noticed looking back through all my content that I've gotten a lot more Western. I kind of thought I'd be more in the homesteading, not sustainable, but the like survival skills space. And I've actually done a lot more cowboying trips and working with ranchers than I thought. So I'm actually going to say Western, edutainment, and food, because that has taken a lot of my time and passion, which has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed that side of it. Fun, I feel like, just gets wrapped in edutainment. So those are going to be my 3 for the year.
Yes, 100% I feel more confident. Last year at this time I was thinking, man, I really want to do this full time, but there's just no way this is even possible. And I was still kind of figuring out algorithms and styles and like, what my voice is. And I feel like this year
confidence
I really
in algorithms
honed in on what I'm good at. And I branched out a little bit too. Last year I was kind of still pigeonholed into like just chicken content. And I was just kind of breaking out of that, getting into general agriculture and stuff. And so this year I feel more confident that I have avenues to explore. I feel confident in my video creating abilities. So overall, just, super confident.
Yes, I do feel more confident in my abilities as a content creator. I feel less confident in social media, especially having my account, I mentioned this earlier, having my account hacked, and Facebook, after a year, well, it'll be a year, January 31st, after a year of them just giving up and not giving it back, I feel less confident in the social media platforms. The whole situation with TikTok going on. I spend less time like worrying about what the algorithms want and all that. I'm really just focused on creating good content, so I'm more confident in that, less confident in how it's actually going to perform. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I definitely feel more confident in what I am doing. So that's all that matters.
My favorite movie this year was for sure Top Gun. But I think overall it's always going to be The Lion King.
Top Gun is amazing. I'm going to say my favorite movie was probably Dune 2. I don't know why. I'm not like that big of a sci-fi guy. Like Star Wars, don't hate me. It's not like my favorite. It's not that great. So I was surprised that I enjoyed Dune as much as I did. What other movies came out last year? There really was not a lot of great movies as I look through this list. 2024 was kind of a bad year for movies. Like Inside Out 2 was fine. Despicable Me 4 was garbage. Mufasa, really?
Netflix. All right, very specific. Because see, right now I'm
Stranger
really
Things?
liking MasterChef and MasterChef Junior, and those are on Hulu. But if those don't count, we just watched one called Pressure Cooker on Netflix. It was a
I
cooking
forgot about that show. That's a good
cooking
show.
reality show. That's good. I
Should
love
look to see if there's a
Stranger
season
Things,
2 of
always
that.
entertained by that. The Alone. It's on the History Channel, but it's on Netflix, so that counts. I love watching Alone.
I think my favorite Netflix show this year was either Manifest. I've been into those colorized World War II documentaries, or Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Arrested Development's good, and Stranger Things is always up there, but we've been waiting. I bet the new season hasn't even come out since I filmed this video. So, I don't know.
My favorite song from this year is Wild Palomino by Cody Johnson. But if we're talking all time, Superstition by Stevie Wonder and Amarillo by George Strait.
Amarillo by Morning by George Strait.
I know it's a 2018-19 song. I've really been into Sunflower by Post Malone.
It's kind of funny I said Post Malone because he actually came out with a country album last year and it's not half bad. I'm a big fan of country posty. But this year was definitely a life where we worked out. by Caitlin Butts and Flatland Cavalry. I listened to that a ton. And the Red Clay Strays, Wondering Why. Those are probably favorite songs of last year. Ooh, and I really have been enjoying Girl from North County by Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan. It's been a classic on repeat. My son James is 6, and his favorite song has been The Rose by Bette Midler. Like, he requests it all the time. So I've been trying to teach him how to play that on the piano. A moth just flew by. Been teaching him how to play that on the piano, and so because it's his favorite song, it's like kind of become near and dear to my heart. So I'm also going to put The Rose up there as well.
This one changes all the time.
Oh, no.
Obviously, like, my
Montana.
favorite place to be is at home in the garden.
I'm going to say
I
Montana.
love just being outside in nature. But Ireland is still up there. It's one of my favorite places that I've ever been. But we did go to Hawaii this year. We went to Kauai, and that's top, like, number 1 most beautiful place in the world. And so I'm going to add that to the list. But I think number 1 is still just at home with my family in the garden.
I didn't realize until this moment that we had not been to Montana. Like, it had been several years. And so our first family Montana trip was actually a few months after I filmed this. So that's cool because we have definitely fallen in love with Montana. We have been there as a family, I think 4 times since recording that. So Montana definitely takes the cake, specifically the Bitterroot Valley. We love staying like in Hamilton, in the Darby area. Definitely our favorite place on earth. And it is my favorite place because of the family memories that we have there. So really anywhere with my family, but specifically all of our kids have said that's where they want to be. So Montana.
There's a lot of new things I want to try this year. I'm actually doing 12 new skills as my goal.
I should go through this.
One skill a month. This month in January I'm focusing on beekeeping. So I really want to get our bee situation figured out. We're going to plant an orchard. So I hope to accomplish all that. Make the perfect macaroon, weld, drive a stick shift. There's a lot of different skills that I want to do, but those are probably the biggest thing.
Bittersweet. Bittersweet.
Accomplishments though, it's probably it.
So I had 12 things that I wanted to accomplish. The reason I wanted to do that was because I really wanted to learn how to weld and to drive a stick shift. Those are the 2 things I did not accomplish. I got 6 things done. I did start bees. We did make the perfect macaroon. I did learn how to ice skate a lot better. I got much better at chess, but a couple things I didn't get done. So, you know, take some good with the bad. This year, I do want to learn how to speak a new language. I haven't told anyone that yet. This is the first time I'm putting that out there. I want to learn how to speak a language. So, haven't decided what yet. Possibly French. We'll see. I also want to be on a TV show. That's my goal. It would be really cool to be an extra in a movie. Kevin Costner had the Horizon films that I guess bombed, did terribly. But if he does like part 3 or part 4, I don't care what the Western is. I just think it'd be really cool to be on a set like that. So that's my goal for this year. I also am hosting some content creator workshops. I'm getting content creators together, and I hope that that builds some really good connections. So I hope this time next year I look back and say that those networking events that I did were awesome and that I made new friends and learned a lot of things from those events. I hope that takes place. And then also I want to go to the Silver Spur Ranch. That's one of my goals for this summer, is to make it. They do like a horse drive, and I really want to make it to one of those. So I have that as a goal as well.
Potatoes for sure, just because they're so versatile and I'm a picky eater, and they're easy to grow. I love carrots as well. Yeah. This year, what I'm going to try to focus on, I want to say lettuce, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Maybe asparagus. This year, I want to eat asparagus and not hate it. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe blueberries. I don't eat blueberries, but we're going to put in a bunch of blueberry bushes.
That did not happen either.
No, it's not going to happen either.
You could see my language has not changed in 2 years.
Maybe broccoli's not going to happen either.
So I didn't really learn to like any new vegetables. I have tried more over the last 2 years, but there's not a single vegetable that I can say, oh yeah, I definitely like that better. But I do enjoy growing more citrus and exotic fruits. So I have banana trees now. I have avocados and lemons and pomegranates. I have them in my greenhouse right now. So that would be like my favorite thing to grow. Those are my babies. I have a lemon tree that produced its first lemon, so I've produced my first fruit off of our farm, and that's really cool. I did actually plant an orchard. We've got about 30 different fruit trees planted, so that's been really exciting, but nothing's produced yet. So I'd say like the fruit side of things has gone really well. I did plant asparagus, and the asparagus looks awesome, but it's the greenhouse and the ability to grow stuff year round. That's my new goal. That's my new passion. So that's what I want to grow, is stuff that you can't normally grow in Nebraska. I want to do it. I want to be the guy that grows pomegranates in Nebraska. I really want to raise bison, like so bad. There's going to be a lot of things that take place before that. I'm going to have to find new ground, like enough land to be able to raise it, put in some fence, obviously learn how to raise a buffalo, because that's not just something someone does. But in 5 years, man, I said by 30, that was my hope. Like, I wanted to have my first bison herd by 30, so I got 4 years to do it. I'm almost 27. I got 3 years. Dang. Yeah, good news, bad news situation. Last year, as you guys maybe remember, I put this up to a vote, and I said we're going to start a ranch, and I let you guys decide what we're going to raise. Everyone picked bison, so I started going down that path. I visited a couple different bison ranches to learn. I got really invested. Like, I've done a lot of research and a lot of work on how to start a bison ranch. But then the people that we were going to kind of partner with, and they were the ones that had the land, they had a lot of life events happen to them. And so it kind of put that on the back burner. And then all of a sudden, the house situation, the house is taking up all my time. We don't have land. So I'm putting the bison thing on back burner. However, at least I'm further along than I was when I recorded this. I've done a lot more work steps to getting there. It's not happening right now. We'll see about 30. I will be 29 in April, so that only gives me a year. Probably not going to happen, but I said 5 years from here. We'll see. What I'm going to say is 5 years from now, I hope that whether it's bison or whether it's our farm, I hope that I have a business that my kids can be a part of. James will be 11 years old, so I want him to have some type of entrepreneurial opportunities, ways to make money here. Whether that's selling plants, selling eggs, I don't know what that looks like, but that is my goal in 5 years. I took 18 trips this year. I will list them rather quickly, but I went down to Texas, got to meet people like the Tractor House Gang, Tucker Brown, Tyson Durfee, hung out with Gatlin again. A lot of great people that I met down in Texas. That was awesome. The Diamond Cross Ranch, I went there, world famous, in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Did a photo camp, so I learned how to take Western photos. That was incredible, a great experience. I spoke at the Baker Creek Seeds Heirloom Festival, so I've been doing a lot more public speaking, and that's been a lot of fun. Our family trip to Montana was excellent, had a fantastic time there. And then after Montana, I went back out to Idaho to spend a week out in the woods, up in the mountains, learning how to raise cattle, basically shepherd cattle all week long. We lived with them and moved them every day on horseback, and that was at the Alder Spring Ranch. Really grateful to them for that opportunity. I learned so much about ranching and how it can look different. So that was spectacular. I had my first ever elk hunting trip in Colorado, super fun. And then I took my wife to New York City here a couple weeks ago. Manhattan was fantastic. We had a great time in New York City. I did my first ever national FFA conference, talked about that earlier, loved that. And then first National Finals Rodeo. That was so cool. I love the rodeo. I love everything about that culture, but getting to hang out at the rodeo there was so much fun. Went to Texas for Polaris, went to that exotic animal ranch, fed a rhino lettuce straight from my mouth, fed a giraffe corn from a cup. Went to Detroit for Ford Ambassador event. That was awesome to see the Ford plant where the Ford trucks get made and the history of like the original Ford plant. That was super cool. So many great trips. It's hard to boil them down into a 1 minute recap, but I hope I have the same amount next year because I had a lot of fun. I have taken lessons, piano lessons. I took them for 13, 14 years. And then after you're done with lessons, life, you kind of lose that skill. I've always been playing piano, but a lot more of it came by ear. And so this year I wanted to hone in on reading music. So I learned Clair de Lune and the Moonlight Sonata. And that was by far the hardest thing I've had to do this year. I know it doesn't seem like it, but relearning that skill and picking a song like Clair de Lune has been so hard. I'm happy to say that I've stuck with it, and it sounds okay-ish. Still working on it, but that was probably the hardest thing I did this year. At the National FFA conference, we went out for Nick Luciano's birthday to this fancy steakhouse, and I was able to try a around the world Wagyu, which is like, it was so cool. You know, I'm used to good steak here in Nebraska, but not. It was American Wagyu, Japanese Wagyu, and Australian Wagyu, and it was like 2 ounces of each, and to get to taste test and like compare them was so fun. So that experience was probably the best thing I ate this year. I'm gonna predict that there will be some type of hat, some hair accessory that makes a major comeback. Either it'll be a new type of hat or a old hat that makes a comeback, like those ones from Peaky Blinders. I think there's gonna be a hat trend. I also think it's been a while since we've had like a global trend. Do you remember the Harlem Shake or planking or the Ice Bucket ALS challenge? I think we're due for one, so my prediction is that sometime this year we'll have like a global trend that everyone takes part in. I have one update from the system notification for Apple Pay because I don't want to use that. Otherwise, I cannot have any notifications on my screen. Even if I don't actually read it, sorry. If you send me a text, there's a chance I didn't read it, but I at least clicked on it to make sure that the notification is gone. Same thing with emails. I have to have everything perfect and clean. I haven't done this for a while because again, there haven't been any good movies, but I love going to a theater on a Monday at noon to have the whole place to myself, and I get my popcorn and just watch a movie. All right, well, thanks for watching this video. We'll see you either next year or the year after that.